Hello and welcome to ETCIO LeaderSpeak. I'm Sneha Jha, editor of ETCIO and your host for the session. Let's try a narrative by numbers today. The life insurance industry in India is set to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 10.3% through 2026. Lending credence to that prediction is the fact that the life insurance penetration in India is about 3.2%. Also, the regulatory tailwinds are a good sign in more ways than one. The regulators' push to deepen insurance penetration to 8 to 10% by 2027 is indicative of the potential addressable market. A cursory glance at these facts and figures, and you will realize that for the life insurers, the party has just begun. And joining the party are a host of fleet-footed, digital-first, data-led startups that are upping the innovation velocity in the life insurance industry. Sure, the incumbent insurers will disrupt themselves by reinventing from the core. But with their firm grip on the bleeding edge of technology trends, the insurtechs will provide the much needed help in this entire journey of creative disruption. Now, the well-entrenched traditional insurers enjoy a huge customer base, a wealth of customer data, brand equity, deep pockets, a vast distribution network, and most importantly, a time-tested, prudent business model. While insurtechs have a culture of agility, innovation, technical prowess, data-driven capabilities, and a digital-first approach to solving customer problems. If the insurtechs create a symbiotic relationship with the incumbent insurers, they can grow with the life insurance industry and help it grow. At the heart of insurtech infusion is a new cultural force based on digital-first technology prowess, data-led agility, and a customer-first approach. So, how can insurtechs help incumbent insurers become more efficient and effective? How can they help incumbent insurers develop new market opportunities through attractive customer value propositions? How can incumbent insurers make sure that their organizational setup and internal processes are ready for insurtech infusion? We'll try to unpack these questions in this episode of ETCIO LeaderSpeak. And to help us do that, we have with us a technology leader who has seen the life insurance industry from very close quarters. He is Goutam Dutta, Chief Information and Digital Officer at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. Goutam is a much awarded and greatly admired CIO in the insurance industry. And I am really excited about learning more from him on the topic of insurtech infusion. So let's get started. Goutam, welcome to ETCIO LeaderSpeak. Thank you for joining us. Now, Goutam, it's a resounding reality that life insurance is an underpenetrated market in India. And the size of the addressable market is huge. But it's also an aching truth that the traditional, well-entrenched players in the insurance industry are saddled with legacy. They also have limitations to innovation in terms of regulatory concerns. But with insurtech infusion, incumbent insurers can solve both these challenges and also find that sweet spot that crucial for innovation. What, according to you, are the collaboration and engagement models to incorporate insurtech infusion within your technology strategy and to create a symbiotic relationship with them?
It is correct that insurance penetration in India is just began. It is below normal. Let us accept that. That's true. Having that said, Bajaj Allianz Life is one of the fastest growing for last couple of years. At our size, probably we are the fastest. Uh, that's a good news. That's a good news. The market itself is growing faster, as you rightly said. A couple of years of CAGR would probably uh, be double than the international average, or would be a little more than that. And now looking into the private initiatives, which is through insurtech or startups. Uh, I think because we are regulated, there is so much that we can do, and because we are spread across too many uh, products, processes, there are only so much that we can do within technology, right? Here, a helping hand where a team which has got miles deep uh, proves to be a blessing most often than not. Most often than not. And this spans across almost everything that we do. From automatically reading, let's say, a medical report. So gone are the days when we talk about OCR for KYC document. That's done and dusted for the industry. I'm talking about another category of report or documents that are physical, that are supposed to come physically. Can we digitize it at the very beginning? Okay. And once it is digitized, what kind of insight can we extract from it? Once we extract the insight, can we make certain decisioning around it and make the whole journey a little more easier? So from there to even setting up a call center, how can you transform that piece? Or when you are making an outbound call, how can you make it scalable? Because outbound call, if you want to do 10,000 outbound call, you may need number of agents, right? And when you have hundreds of agents calling, thousands of people, obviously there will be differences in standard. There will be differences the way they talk. There are lots of those issues that will come and hit you. How can you make it scalable without getting into those nuances? All of these requires tremendous focus on certain part of tech stack. Right? How do you make use of that tech stack? If all we have to do internally, it is not that it is not possible. It is possible, but it would take enormous time. It would take enormous effort. A startup or a insurtech often comes with a ready solution, which we have to adopt within our kind of set of situation and create a magic around it. I'm just giving you top 2 or 3 examples, but then there are plenty of it. Plenty of it. As we discuss more, we will talk about them. Few more. Broad point that I wanted to bring is not only for insurance as an industry, but almost every industry today are creating values, unparalleled values for their shareholder, their customers, their partners, using services and products that were prepared by or marketed by or supported by a startup or an insurtech or a fintech or some kind of tech companies. That is, I think, this is only to grow. There is by no means, this will reverse. While the industry of this kind of startups would also grow, I'm talking about the practice that an established business taking assistance from these services and creating various ease for their users, for their partners, would only grow. That's for certain. I think that's what you wanted to also understand. That's for certain, because I'm truly positive towards it. While insurance industry is broadly regulated industry, hence there are a couple of those models not available to this industry as of now. But as you rightly said, our regulator is thinking through many views. So there could be a significant change in this also. But let us understand it in a bit little broad base. There are 5 or 6 models that we can engage. Certainly one model is you have a problem statement, you broadcast that problem statement, you select few of these startups or insurtech or fintechs, and they build a solution, you pick 1 or 2 and you partner with them. That's kind of the most used, most preferred maybe. But then there are many other options. You can also do ideation, not the problem solving, even ideation, and then go down and build a solution along with people who are like-minded. This often happens when a budding startup, let's say some college graduate who's just passed out and wanted to do something, but they don't have the problem statement, neither have the tech environment to create something, but they do have the mind power. Okay. So I have seen areas where jointly co-create this solution, problem statement, solution, and then try to see how it can be embedded. Though this process may not create too much of value for the insurtech, because at that point in time they may not be a full-fledged company per se or an organization per se, but that works. The third option could be you create a panel of certain such tech companies who are tech by heart and goes miles deep on their areas of interest. And as throughout the year, as problem statement hits you, you reach out to this group of people and see who can do best, which means you already have empaneled insurtech, and you are almost assured that whatever problem statement that you are trying to look into, these empaneled entities can come up and help. Mostly it is seen where there is an incubation center and you are attached to that incubation center, multiple incubation center possibly, and you keep doing things in a very collaborative way with these incubation centers. The problem it solves is the whole initiation part narrows down, because you know what to reach at a first go itself. Also, it expands your variety of solutions, because in an incubation center, you may have 20, 30 or 40 of them working on similar problems. Right? The next option could be entity have investment in any of these startups, maybe minor, maybe major, and that way get attached with it and its success. And that is very, very important for the startups, because then they get an industry veteran to guide them. Also, a very strong use case for them to talk about outside. That also happens. May not be predominantly in regulated industry, but may surely be in outside. And third is you, or the last one I think is you be part of an venture fund or some funding house who in turn invest in lots of those startups or insurtech, and you work as their mentors or guides to help them while you may not be consuming their product within your entity, but you are guiding them to spread them over the industries, over the other players who can make sure they can make use of it. So there are those highly used. All of them are decently practiced in India. And these are the models that one can actually uh, take through to take benefit of some of these insurtechs. I often say in our operation we are mile spread and probably inch deep. And at times when you have situations where you need to go miles deep, possibly in spread, it is probably not our forte, probably not our skill sets. And at that point in time, don't get into ego. Go out, find out someone who are miles deep on it, and see if you can make sure that they get embedded with your mile spread. Then you get best of the both world. Uh, that's how it should be a meaningful engagement. Now, I said it in a very broad view, mile spread and inch deep. And you understand many of entities, many of insurance companies or any other entities are not inch deep. They're also in many ways, if not mile, at least half mile deep in many of the functions. And some of the insurtech or the tech giants actually comes back with not only miles deep, few 100 kilometer deep. Because when we talk about AI and ML and stuff like that, they are really fascinating in what they do. So this often creates some win-win.
Gautam, insurtechs can use their technology prowess to roll out processes and strategies that can make incumbent insurers agile and future ready in a shorter span of time. So, how can insurtechs leverage new technologies to enhance the design and delivery of life insurance and also enable unique service value propositions to your existing pool of customers?
There are there are partners who help us in uh, building our contact centers. There are partners who help us in building our benefit illustration pages. Life insurance is a complicated product and all of that. Benefit illustration also requires all product understanding so that it can give you the life goals and life benefits. It requires one process understanding, it requires product understanding, and a good tech stack. Those are the solution. We deal with lots of documents because for us, health underwriting and financial underwriting both are important and stringent. It's not just touch and go. Stringent one. So you got to actually read and analyze and have a discussion on it. Hence, OCR related partners who can read structured, unstructured document, printed, handwritten documents are important. So partners across each of these have worked with us for last 2-3 years and are working with me and our larger teams to create tremendous applications, tremendous value for our customer, for our partner, and for us. I give you a couple of examples, but there are many. There are many more um, who are doing a good job.
How can insurtechs add value across multiple aspects of the insurance value chain, Can you give us some examples of your own insurtech engagements at an organizational level?
Very nice questions. Uh, let me take you through first the problem statements. Once you understand, or once we appreciate the problem statement, then probably you would understand how much of value each one of these engagement creates. One of my, or some of my favorites I will talk about. In the insurance business, uh, there are outbound calls happening. Uh, we may like, we may not like, but that's a fact in the business. Now, as you and me both, whenever we get this outbound call, within 10 seconds, the only thing comes to mind is how do I cut this? Most often it is but natural to cut this. Sometimes it is for our benefits also, and then we, because of impatience, we cut this call. That happens. Now, when an entity like us are trying to make an outbound call, we go through or go with this risk of making 1,000 calls, probably only one would happen, or maybe 10 would happen, which means hit ratio is very low. Why hit ratio is very low? Because probably we are not having the required relevance when we call it. Probably the way we are calling is not proper. Probably we're calling with an English accent to a person who prefer to speak in Hindi, or vice versa. So there are lots of these things. Probably the caller is tired after making 10 calls, and the 11th one, he or she already frustrated, thinking this is not going to happen. There could be many such reasons why this is not happening. Now, what all is in our control? All the input stream variants are in our control. Whatever response that the person gives is not in our control, but what do we do in response of those responses is definitely in our control. But whatever training you do, because this side there is a human, he would have his human nature at times come and do good or bad. Now we thought, and then there is a scale problem. How do you create, 100 callers? How do you make those infrastructure up? How do you then scale down? That's also another problem. So there are lots of those business problems in this activity. Now, of course, we went out to find out who can help, how can he help. And as a result of 3 startups working together with our innovation team and creating something called humanoid, which understands language. So there is an NLP at the back, which understands intent of the person that is speaking to, which also understands the intent that the organization has. Okay. Now, these are 3 very fundamental points. To give you an example, it may be so that the call started with English, and the person said upon "Ha bol raha." So that immediately should caught, and the whole conversation can turn into Hindi. And then as we talk, as I specifically, you have a far fair oratory, but when I speak, there are lots of white noise in between, right? Which does not mean anything. It's just a pause, and it comes with a white noise, which kind of I'm thinking or something like that. In a conversation also, there are white noise. All of that are happening to a machine. All of that are happening as an input to the machine. And the person up within 10 seconds is saying, I'm not interested. It's not a sales call I'm talking about. Please don't think it's a sales call. The pure service call where we are trying to help that person in a way. and person within 10 seconds without probably understanding, not probably he has or she has understood also, saying, I'm not interested. How can you still pursue with him or her and make sure that appointment happens? This humanoid, if you could experience it, I have a recording at some point in time, I'll send it to you.
Sure.
Very interestingly, it pursued the every caller in a very standard fashion, no frustration, no iota of dissatisfaction. Okay, no disrespect. If he's saying no, I don't need. There's no disrespect to it. Fine, thank you. But if it is finding a little bit an opportunity to convert it, it is pursuing and converting and getting that one for the benefit of the customer. That is what we have created. Now, from less than 3% of conversion rate, it has now gone up to probably 21, 22%, at times 28% of conversion. That's unimaginable to make happen with a manual model. Or during COVID time, when we were not able to sit together and have a cup of coffee and discuss an insurance product across India. But business had to happen. People at that point in time required more protection, more cover, which means you had to actually reach out, but proximity was not possible because there are 3 feet of distance or 3 meters of distance or 3,000 kilometers of distance. Now, how do you make sure that the same extent of transparency and trust is extended in that discussion? So we created, probably world's first screen mirroring without downloading any agent, without getting into any sense of data security issues, applied for any form factor, any OS, which means my agent could be in Bombay and the customer could be in Jharsuguda or in Queen's Place in some other country, right? He or she would be able to extend the UI, the interface where the policy is getting or the application is getting noted to the next person and share it, give control, take control, have a conversation. Now, this is not possible without efficient tech. Again, we try to find out who can do it for us. And again, the partners came up and did a tremendous job.
How are you partnering with insurtechs to innovate in the areas of customer experience, automated underwriting, data analytics, fraud detection, customer behavior analysis, also Salesforce enablement through a phygital model, and most importantly, claims processing?
Many of that are done using our internal teams because again, then there are areas where we think we have USP. And those are the areas where we wish to build our own capability. We are probably the only life insurance company where in a variable channel, when a person becomes our partner, can you guess how much time it takes to punch in the first policy in our system? So if one of our partner goes into Aurangabad and recruits an agent, and that agent says, once I become your partner, I will punch in first application with you. Normally, that's how the business happens. It takes time, right? To onboard that person, to set up the system for them, to set up his credential, and then he would start his journey in my environment and put up the first application. It takes time. In the industry, it takes time. I'm not saying it takes time only for us. Guess how much time it should take. Best possible case is a day. Around 6 months back, it used to take an hour. Today, it takes 24 minutes. Okay. And we are so paranoid about it. 24 minutes. When a customer who is an existing customer comes to us for another offer, the industry call it pre-existing offer, or in a very technical term, it is called PASA, pre-assured sum assured, which means if you have already a 50 lakh cover in one type of life goal, you have another type of life goal that you wanted to secure, and you can have another 50 lakh cover. For many of our cases, it takes 1 minute, and the best cases, it takes 44 seconds. Or rather, worst cases, there is a 93 or 92% of cases can take 24 seconds to 44 seconds. These are areas of massive data analysis. These are areas of massive shortening the whole journey to few seconds, and then some tremendous work on technology. Most of it, because it requires our internal system understanding, process understanding, and you have to work very, very tightly with many of our internal departments. We do it internally.
Well, I agree with the fact that insurtech infusion is the need of the hour. But I'm sure you will agree with me that it's also important to cut through the insurtech hype. So, Gautam, tell me something. What evaluation techniques should CIOs employ to ensure that they open the doors only to the value enhancing insurtechs? Early on in the evaluation cycle, how should they ensure where the business value of insurtech infusion resides, how it will be quantified, and how will it translate into hard numbers?
That's an area of fine debate. I can tell you my way. Every one of us have their own way of assessing risk and reacting to it. When I get into engaging with one, first of all, we all fully aware that any technology-led solution will get upgraded in 6 to 18 months for sure. Which means if you are engaged with partner A and the partner A is not following the tech upgrade cycle, then there is possibility that you have to go to partner B. That we are fully aware. Hence, that is one very clear area, that because when you get too many orders, too many business engagements, at times your core product upgrade may take a backseat. It happens so many times. So we are aware about it, and hence we don't get too clogged about that decision. For example, OCR is there for ages now, and at every month you would find somebody coming in the same solutioning space and offering something different, something better. Hence, it is changing, and then as a consumer of that solution, you got to be aligned with it. So, what I do firstly is I prefer to personally meet those guys to understand, are they their business model properly in place, or this is just a fluke that they are into something. Because if they are not making money, then possibly they won't be able to last long. They need to make money. There has to be somebody who is supporting them, or they have their model which will be self-sufficient. So that is extremely important. Second is those people who are the leaders in that organization, are they trustworthy? Because it is a complicated world, you understand. Things can take any shape anytime. There is no such guarantee per se that things would stay straight first in one way. And I have examples where people who thought he is a body shopper or providing T&M resource suddenly become a product owner. And very next year, he suddenly become product and service provider. So you also get at times benefited by this, and at times get completely clogged that you are not getting the required focus from the partner, or your aspirations are not getting met. And there is a gap between the thought process that you had initially and now. The second, so that is the second thing. The third thing that we wish to see is how scalable are they? When we say scalable, it's not number of people. It's definitely not number of people. There is one aspect is they come back with a good product or a solution. The other aspect is how scalable are, how amenable are they are in terms of integrating that with our business. When you try to get into integrating something with somebody else's business, it's not that hunky-dory stuff. It's a real rough thing to happen. And that's where the business is. That's where
That's where the rubber hits the road.
The rubber hits the road. That's where the value for us. So we try to see how scalable from that aspect they are. So combining all of this, and if it is financially making sense, then it is in. If it is not making sense, then we are good friend.
Gautam, thank you for joining us and for sharing your views with us on the topic of insurtech infusion.
Many thanks, Asneha. This
Thank
is all my pleasure, and it is always very nice to talk.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Goutam Dutta, Chief Information and Digital Officer at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. Thank you for watching.